All right, I'm going to be working tomorrow, so I'm going to upload these today. These two videos that I had planned. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So while I think, generally speaking, I think balkanization is what's going to occur in the United States, let's talk about that connection with the nation state of the United States. Let's go into much more deeper detail, right? People, of course, settler colonialists. All right, I'll give in. I'll wave the white flag and say, yes, it's settler colonialist. All right. Okay. But let's go on from there. What does it represent? 50 different states, thousands of cities, or, well, actually, let's do it this way. 50 states, thousands of counties, thousands of cities, thousands of unincorporated land, everything else, right? National parks, the whole schmear, right? The whole schmearoli. What does that mean for balkanization? Well, what it means is that people are going to be fighting over these various territories for whatever reason, right? Recently, my dad went to a gathering for I'll go ahead and reveal the details. Why not? But of Quanah Parker, and there was a ceremony on this hill near Quanah, Texas. So you climb up this hill. They bless you in the traditional way. He was a Comanche, but his mother was white. He was so. I think with Quanah Parker, he had like 7 different wives, this and that. So he was a bit of a player. He had women and a lot of different kids. Anyways, so what occurred? So my dad and these other folks were blessed, climbed this hill. They had a little ceremony. It's a very rare thing. They're going to be, this is going to be this is just one example of what will occur later on, under, some sort of idea of balkanization, right? The different native tribes that exist in the United States are going to start saying, we want these sacred areas back, and of course people are going to mention, the Great Hill. They're going to talk about the area, which is, they're going to talk about the various monuments. They're going to talk about, Gutzon, Borglum. Right, let me see here. Mount Rushmore. That's what it was. Sorry. Couldn't. But Mount Rushmore, which is included, in the area of, of a lot of, I believe it was under the land of the, I'm trying to think of it now. I want to say it was like the Crow, I want to say. Could be wrong. But anywho, I think that, these are going to be continuing areas. So I think that will kind of slowly be the idea of it. And of course, these new nation states will come up, right? Now, the thing is that indigenous peoples in the United States have acclimated to this system. They have taken things up. You look at the Comanche Nation, right? And you know what? Actually, I'm going to change this title. I was going to call it Balkanization in the Nation State. I'm going to call it Balkanization and the... I'm going to call it the Indigenous Nation State. I'm going to call it the Indigenous Nation State. There we go. But they have assimilated into the larger world economy. if you will. What does that mean? What do I mean by that? Accounting. They have financial folks. This is particular with the Comanche in Oklahoma. I subscribe to the Comanche Nation YouTube channel, and I've seen they are very methodically buying up land. So any land that goes on sale from the state of Oklahoma, their real estate guy comes out there, makes their bid. And so they're slowly gaining more land. Now, at this point, it depends on, like I say, all the tribes are different. Everything else is not a simple thing, but I want to expand on this idea a little bit more. I've spoken about this before, but I'll speak on it here too. And I think a lot of folks have the LARPy idea, particularly like the MLs and people like Danky Kang I saw yesterday, where it's just like, oh, well, it's not about revenge or this and that. I don't think it necessarily will. But the thing is, though, is we've already seen with Eastern Oklahoma the exemption of indigenous tribes from federal law. Precedent to something else. And I would assume that while they have their beefs financially between like the Kiowa and the Comanche, I'm just speaking about Oklahoma. I'm focusing on that. But beyond their beef, I imagine they say to themselves, hey, we can get this land back and everything else. We can maybe form a coalition, something like that. Hey, what's going on, right? So I imagine to a certain degree that's what will occur. And of course, the American Indian movement, we're going to see how much input they have. I have a feeling that they really don't have as much influence as people think they do. I think in general that this sort of LARP idea where it's just like, oh, well, natives know how to take care of the land. Number one, that's such, maybe I overuse this word, but it's fetishist to be like that. And to me, it's also, it comes from the idea of the noble savage type of idea, where it's just like, well, oh, the natives know what to do with the land. They hear the land. They feel the land. It's just like, shut the fuck up. They're just, this is one of the complicated things to me that I don't get. And I'll try to wrap it up with this. This idea of we're all human, this and that, right? But then when it comes to certain aspects of, like MLs or anarchists or basically, I'll just say it, morons like that Canadian vegan chick. What the fuck is her name? I really don't care. I really don't care. It's like she looked halfway decent, but she's such an idiot. She was so manipulated by the system. I cannot think of her name. It's not coming to me. I can see her face, but I cannot picture her name. Anyway, that broad. The thing is that to a point, I think traditions will be saved. I think that they'll blend in. I don't think it's going to be that much different than what exists right now. Like I say, plenty, that's going to be the real concern, isn't it? Between different tribes, right? Some tribes are going to integrate better into the larger system and others won't. That's going to be the thing. Casinos, they're going to have land. I imagine they're going to have their own militaries, this and that. They're going to have some white folks, in like supervisory, positions, this and that. So, I mean, that's what I personally think about it. I really think that, casinos are kind of the starting point. I know people are going to say, you're being racist, you're this and that. I don't care. I'm trying to be honest with it. But I do think that's, to a point, that's what's going to occur. So once the breakup of the United States happens, and I know people want to talk about the indigenous peoples, and I think that a lot of them have already integrated into the system. So once the U.S. does break apart, then a lot of them will just have to find better lawyers, this and that, and and just like any other business, they will bring people in, right? Maybe I've been too, maybe I'm too dumbfounded by capitalism, but I do feel that that's what's going to happen. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say about it. I think that the idea of now nation states, the European idea of it, will be blended into the idea of the indigenous nation state, and that sort of those ideas are going to blend. They're going to have borders too. They're going to have strict policies and everything else like that you're going to have to obey. So we're going to see where that goes, and yeah, I don't think it's going to be as LARPy as some people portray it. Anywho, I think that's all I have to say. See you later. Goodbye.